The first 3 months of this year have changed everything for me. It started at the National Chess Championship, where after a few heartbreaking games, I barely missed out on qualifying to the World Chess Olympiad. Then I said screw it and went on an improvised month-and-a-half trip to Europe. I played tournaments across different countries, explored cities all over Europe, met some incredible people, had some great wins and also some brutal losses. And honestly, that experience I would not trade for anything. But there's one problem that I just cannot ignore, and that's that I have been bleeding rating points. I feel like I've been playing well, maybe even better than most of my 2100 opponents, but often I don't convert, I let the game slip away, and every once in a while I even make some catastrophic mistake and lose to someone rated 300 points lower than me. But I will come back to that, because for everything to make sense, I want to tell you the story of the tournament that I just returned from yesterday. The Central American and Caribbean Under-20 Chess Championship, which was held in Costa Rica. Somehow, in just 1 week, I feel like a completely different person. Like everything finally clicked. And not just in chess, but life in general, and the way I want to approach things moving forward from now. To give you some context, the stakes for this tournament were huge. First place gets a direct IM title, second and third place, FIDE Master, and I was actually feeling good considering I just returned 2 weeks ago from my Europe trip, and after that I was doing my tactics every single day. I was checking some of the lines of my openings, and I was ready to go into battle. The first game arrived and everything went according to plan. I was playing a 1700, but still I had checked that he plays the Apocalypse attack against the Caro-Kann with 95. I prepared this a6 move a little bit, got a very good position, quickly won a pawn, and converted without any kind of problems. Second game, I'm playing a 1900, and again, the opening was a success. I saw he plays a Grunfeld, and I prepared this rare bishop g5 line. And he surprised me, well, slightly surprised me with this rare move c6, but I actually decided to check it on my own before the game. I was just thinking about what human moves are possible in this position. I saw that e3 was good, and very quickly I got a pleasant advantage out of the opening to play a good game. And then this moment arrived where I could just play a normal natural move like castling, which in hindsight obviously is what I should have done, and play a good position, have an edge, and to be completely honest, I think I probably would have won the game. Instead, I went for this move 95, which is also okay. I saw the complications. I saw that I have to take back with the d-pawn and get this kind of structure. But then, in this very critical position, which I underestimated the critical nature of it, where there's a lot to calculate, I did see the correct moves, like rook d1 with the idea of putting the bishop on d5, or I think the other move was bishop d5 directly and then bring the queen back to d1 if I'm not mistaken. And I saw all of these lines, but I was I didn't have much discipline in my calculation, and I thought bishop h6 was also okay. Well, I play bishop h6, and it turns out this is very bad, because now all of a sudden I'm not in time to keep my light squared bishop, which is critical to defend the pawn which has now arrived on e6. And after that, I just collapsed. I played a very bad game, and I lost. Alright, obviously not the best start to the tournament, but still. I'm on 1 out of 2, of course, pretty bad, but there's still the whole tournament I had to play for. So, never mind. I go to bed, play the next game, and here is where the problems really start showing. I play the Caro-Kann. We get an advanced variation. I go into the line with c5. And the problem is, this is basically the only line that I've been playing. So of course my opponents can very easily prepare for me. Point is, I mixed up my lines a little bit, especially because I had prepared the systems with a3 and b4, against which I planned to respond with a5, and my opponent went for the main line, which of course I should know considering this is the only thing I play, but I mixed up some of my lines, very quickly got a much worse position, And to be completely honest, I was just completely lost, and it was a miracle that I managed to survive. He slipped up somewhere, and he gave me back the half a point. So this is already a bad sign, right? I only have one opening repertoire, and it's very easily preparable. Anyway, that afternoon, the Rapid tournament was held, in which I'm actually pretty satisfied with my performance. I got third place Central American and Caribbean under 20 Rapid, which I guess is okay. I had chances for much more. I had chances for first place, because the guy who got first place, I messed up a completely drawn endgame. This endgame, I should definitely have been able to hold it, but in time trouble, I wanted to force the draw and ended up just losing the game. But okay, and then in the penultimate game, I think I was playing the guy who got second place in the tournament, and in a completely winning rook endgame, I also messed it up. So of course, this is also, it's not just bad luck, I need to know how to convert these positions, or hold these positions in time trouble. But okay, it was a Rapid tournament. This wasn't really the tournament I was focusing on, but still pretty decent. And it went to show me that, okay, I can play decent chess, right? So then it's time for the next day, where I'm playing the fourth game with White against a Cuban player who had 0 games in his database and had also drawn one of my country mates who's 2150, 2200, somewhere in that range. Which is the same opponent. The opponent that I drew in the third round also beat that guy. So these are all a bunch of underrated, pretty strong players. Anyway, I play the Catalan. I had no idea what to expect. Another issue. I only play the Catalan, basically. And my opponent knew all the theory. Now, I went for this slightly more rare line with a rook d1 and knight c3 instead of the standard queen takes c4, thinking I might surprise him and thinking I had no games in the database with this line. I didn't remember having any. Point is, he knew exactly how to equalize with knight c6, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, all of this long line, and we get a position where maybe I had some slight chances, but I didn't play it ideally, because I think instead of where I played queen a4, I should have played rook a4. And, I didn't really get anything out of that game. My opponent held a solid draw. What to do? And then I went on a pretty good winning streak. I won the next game. It was a very smooth game in the Caro-Kann with this bishop g4 line, a position that I've always said is very comfortable for the black pieces. I found a nice tactic. I was very happy with this moment where I had a choice between knight takes a3 and knight takes e3, and I figured out the nuances, and I figured out why taking on a3 is correct. Taking on e3 was incorrect because it opens up space for the queen, and then I'm going to have trouble on the f7 square. So that was a good game. Then, the next day, I'm playing a game with White. My opponent surprised me with this queen takes d5. It was a little bit of a messy, crazy position, but I managed to get the best of my opponent, who, again, he was like 1600, and I'm like, what a joke. I can't gain any rating, and these guys are not playing so bad. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where the Blitz tournament happens. And this Blitz tournament, let me tell you, was the most heartbreaking event I've played in my entire life. At least one of them. It all began pretty well. I lost the game early, but then I made a good comeback. I won a bunch of games in a row. Then I beat my country mate, who's 2200 in Blitz. He blundered a pawn in the opening. I converted it very smoothly. I made a draw against some other FIDE master. And in the last game, I'm the co-leader, along with the same Cuban who won the Rapid tournament. And we're both on 6.5 out of 8. No one else can catch us. Everyone else has less points than us. After such a great tournament, I'm playing this guy. The pressure is real. I'm really feeling it. I'm feeling the nerves. I'm feeling the tension. I play a Jobava London. It was, well, it's a Blitz game after all, so it might be a little bit messy. But I won a pawn somehow, and then in this crazy position, when he moved his rook, I thought I had just lost the piece. I thought I lost the knight on a4. I was just in fight or flight or freeze mode, whatever you call it. adrenaline rushing. All I had to do was play knight takes c5, and I would have become the Central American and Caribbean under 20 blitz champion. Then I realized what I'd done. Of course, it was absolute heartbreak. And again, it is something to work on. I'm not just saying, poor me, how unlucky am I? Of course, seeing moves under pressure in these situations is still a skill. It's something you should be able to do as a chess player. But basically having that title in my hands and then losing it was just, it reminded, like, sport in general, chess is it can be very painful. And this was one of these situations. But you know what? I still proved to myself, even though it's blitz, even though it's random, even though, anything can happen, even in a blitz tournament, you have to know how to play a little bit of chess at least to be able to get yourself in a situation where you're even fighting for first, right? So, it was still pretty alright. But of course, heartbreaking. And then, the next day, I lose with the black pieces in another line where I just got completely out-prepped. I'm playing in 1800. I hadn't seen this queen takes d4 line in about a month, a year and something. It's been a long time since I've looked at this line. Obviously, responsibility of my own again that I'm not checking all the lines, but obviously something will escape me. Coincidentally, my opponent checked this exact line. He told me that he prepared absolutely everything. And here, again, I made a pretty bad practical decision because I knew I had studied this f6 move some time ago. But I also knew it was a very sharp line. So knowing it's a very sharp line, I should have probably gone for e6, which is a little bit more solid. But then again, I thought maybe f6 will surprise him. He was, of course, also prepared for e6, and he understood absolutely everything. He understood that in this position I had to play a6, and the move I played was a blunder. And then, thankfully, after knight b5, I found this resource with g5. But even there, my opponent found some good moves, and I never managed to save the game. There was one moment also where I played bishop g4. Any other move, I have some chances with queen a4 check, I believe. My opponent correctly identified that he can just play bishop to g2, protecting those light squares, and that me taking on e2 and his king taking back and leaving the king in the center is no problem whatsoever, because my king's also in the center, and his pieces are just much better placed than mine, and never mind that he's up a pawn in the position. So there went all of my chances, because with 7 out of 9, maybe I could have some kind of chances if I kept on winning games. I lost that game, and my tournament was basically over. Yet still, there were 2 more games to play. I made a draw in the next game. It was a Bogo Indian. We got this position where for me to really keep on fighting, I would probably have to press for about 4 more hours. Honestly, I didn't have the energy or the mood to do so. I missed one chance with e4 in this game, I believe, which would have given me an advantage. Didn't see it. That was that. And then, that night, something interesting happened, where obviously my tournament was over, and I had a countrymate as well, a friend of mine, who was playing, who, by the way, won the Rapid and the Blitz female section in the tournaments. That was very cool to see. She's Marianela Cruz. She played a very good event. And I thought, you know what, I might as well help out with some preparation for her, along with another coach who was there with her. And so I sat in the hotel room until late at night, along with the other colleague. We prepared some lines. That was a very satisfactory experience. I've never really done that before, but it's actually really cool doing this, obviously, quote-unquote, second work. That was pretty fun. And in the process, of course, I also looked at a little bit for myself, and the game concluded, the last game concluded in an exchange Caracan, where my opponent somehow knew this move e5, which I had prepared, and then I got only one chance with rook takes e3. I didn't see it, and the game just, again, fizzled out into a draw from this position where I'm playing with an isolated pawn. So there we go. The tournament is over, and you might say, well, just another tournament, pretty bad event, nothing good happened. Why are you so excited about this? Well, it's not necessarily just one result. I've lost rating before. But of course, a really, really humiliating result is very motivating. Also, the fact that I see the potential when I play good positions and I play positions that I'm familiar with, or I get the upper edge in prep and I play good chess. All in all, disappointment. It was a little bit bittersweet. This heartbreak in the blitz tournament. Other than that, still good vibes in general with everyone else who came from Panama. And somehow something just changed in me after this trip, where I'm feeling more motivated than ever, but in a different way than before. It's become absolutely clear to me what I need to do. And thankfully, I have about a 2-3 month rest now, where I'll play some local small classical tournaments here and there, but I don't have any serious international competitions planned. And I've basically just been playing. I've played a bunch of games, which again has been so useful. And I have been working. It's not like I've just been completely slacking off. I have been doing my tactics. I have been checking some lines. But I think it's time for me to seriously restructure my chess. So just my opening repertoire with black needs some serious work. With white as well. I just want to add more variety and more flexibility to my repertoire. I want to focus on not just doing a bit of tactics before the tournaments, but actually building some strong calculation, making it a skill that I really want to improve, since it's something I've also been struggling with. And I finally have the time where I'm able to pursue this task, because it's always been playing, fixing something here and there, continue playing. Now I have the time to work on all of these things. And somehow also I just feel excited to do this opening work, excited to solve these tactics, something which hasn't really been the case before, and I can't exactly pinpoint to the reason why. I've always enjoyed playing, I've always enjoyed chess, I've always enjoyed coaching, but these specific activities like opening work and solving puzzles have never really been to me. I've just done them because, well, you have to do them. But somehow I have the real desire to actually work on these things. And somehow I just have less of a desire to pursue superficial things in life, in terms of, don't want to get too personal on this chess channel, but just to give you an example, partying, drinking, just joking around, things that you are supposed to do as a teenager in a way, but I just really want to lock in finally. And I'm really looking forward to this next chapter, these next 3 months, where I can seriously take all the lessons I've learned and work on redeveloping them, and really just doing some serious work on my own chess. So that's that. And also, since I'm going to have some more time now, I'm going to get more back into coaching. So I think I might still have a few slots available for some private lessons. So if you're in need of any kind of coaching and you feel like I could be of use to you, then you can feel free to check out my website in the link below. And you can send me an email and we'll see if we can start working together. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I apologize for the fact that there hasn't been a video in so long. I've been so busy with all of these tournaments, all of these things. But trust me, I'm going to return to YouTube now. I'm planning to upload at least once a week. I'm not going to do daily uploads. I need time to focus on my own chess. But anyway, exciting times ahead. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.